Now that you know the teams dropping down, we have also secured European qualification. We already know about the Champions League spots, of course, Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Manchester United. We know Europa League, Brighton, of course, and Liverpool. We'll talk about that in a second. And the Conference League is Aston Villa's James Olley. For the first time since Stilian Petrov was captain, the Villa. Let me tell you something, James Olley, because I want your opinion on this. In October, when Steven Gerrard left, Aston Villa were only out of the relegation zone on goals scored. Now, Conference League, my friend. Give me your thoughts as they beat Brighton at Villa Park.
Well, I think that actually it was a straight fight today, wasn't it, between Villa and Tottenham? And I actually think the outcome is probably best for both clubs. I think Spurs could probably do with a season without the Conference League. Not from a financial point of view. I know it's not big money in that competition, but you know, I know your questions about Villa, and I will get there. But I mean, Spurs are just such. No,
don't worry. You go on Tottenham, James. Go on Tottenham. I'm just trying to be cute here. Don't worry about it.
You know, they are in such a mess at the moment that you look at them and think, well, actually, a year without it, to just focus on getting back in the top four. That club needs to be in the Champions League. Maybe it would help them than having to sort of, you know, go to these far-flung places. But you know, on the flip side for Villa, what a reward for Unai Emery and the work that he's done. A real opportunity to take that, you know, club obviously with a very proud European history of its own back into Europe. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody thought something like this would be possible when Emery took charge. But you know, the football they play, how fearless they've been, how consistent they've been, really in the back end of the season. You know, they deserve it, and you know, it will really, I think, enhance Emery's hand in the transfer market. It will be an opportunity for them to grow that squad in the way that he wants. He's only obviously made 2 signings. I'm sure he'll get a budget and scope to bring in plenty more now and really mould that squad in his own image. And it's you know, and it's credit to him from a sort of Premier League point of view. It's quite a revival because he did leave Arsenal as not quite a laughing stock, but there was obviously all the talk about the good evening stuff and his broken English and could he ever communicate effectively with the players. And I know, having covered Arsenal for a long time, that there were issues there in terms of how he got his message across, and you know, and whether his style of football could be adaptable to any group of players. I remember there was a big debate about, can he ever make this Arsenal team play out from the back? Do they have the players to do it? You know, well, Aston Villa now play a very, very different style to what they produced under Steven Gerrard, and he has been able to implement that without having to bring in 6, 8, 10 of his own players to do it. So, yeah, I mean, as I say, I think it's the right outcome and the best outcome for both clubs, really, in the end.
Janusz?
No, I mean, look, it's almost happened too fast. I wonder what the expectation may be as well. And who knows, maybe if Arsenal were a little bit more patient, maybe we would have seen that under Unai Emery as well. Most importantly, I think he came in, as James said, he's changed the system, because under Stevie Gerrard, for the most part, was 4-3-3, even previously as well. I think Douglas Luiz has benefited from that. We've seen it, of course, another goal for him. Young Boubacar, even when Dendoncker was coming in as well. McGinn, I think, has always been a warrior as well, but you could see how I think he's embraced the idea and the ways of playing as well, because I think he's also gotten even better. And, you know, we all know that he's a worker, he's a character, he's a true captain of that team, in my opinion. Ali Watkins finally playing as a number 9, whereas, as we all know, he's often been played wide, and certainly I think we know now that that's not his position. Maybe we knew that before. So fair play to him. I think, you know, next season is going to be a true indication of what this Villa team is. They are going to get better. The biggest thing for me is that, you know, not that I was surprised, but I like the way Villa played on both sides of the ball, because we know Unai Emery can defend with the best of them. You know, I think of Unai Emery with Sevilla and Villarreal. With Sevilla, a little bit more open, right, possession football, a little bit closer, I want to say, to what we see with Villa, with Villarreal, and maybe it's Europe, you know, when I think of them, and just defending in numbers and play on the counter as well. So I think this is a different Unai Emery, who I just have a feeling has learned a ton from his spell at Arsenal. And he maybe changed his way. Of course, I have no way of proving that. But I think he put a lot of thought in his time in the Premier League with Arsenal and came back much, much better with an open mind, a little bit different and much better for sure.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.